So you've made it over to a new month. We're on day 3 of this new month, and the country continues to see a flattening of the COVID-19 curve. That means we're doing something right as a nation. Whether that right is merely washing our hands, wearing a mask in public, or staying in when we are told to do so. But let's embrace this month with a positive mind to help get the economy going and take continued steps to make Jamaica COVID-free. And with that, welcome to Jamaica Magazine, where we also continue the work to get to 0 cases and inform you with as much as you need to know to help us reach that target. I'm Theodore Henry, bringing you your bit of Jamaica Magazine for today. Well, actually, right now.
I want to address an issue which occurred last week, and that is the shooting death of a Jamaican lady in the Augustown community, Suzanne Bogle. The circumstances behind the shooting are still under investigation. And given the established protocols that now exist regarding such shootings, where there is an independent commission of investigation who takes over these matters and who has been doing a very good job in ensuring that justice is done, I call the son of the deceased, a young man who I had an extensive conversation with, and very impressive young man, the best of Jamaica, what we would want to see all our young men aspire to. The statement which moved me was that he didn't want his mother's death to go in vain or be ignored by the state. And I found that to be very profound. There is still a sense where people feel they don't get social justice. And it is imperative that the government at all times reassures all citizens that the government cares. The government will ensure that nothing in these matters will be hidden, will be swept under the carpet, that the social and economic status of the victim does not determine the outcome of justice. And I had what I felt to be a very good talk with this young man and gave him the assurance that in no way, shape, or form will there be any attempt to cover up, that we will seek to have justice done in this matter.
Of course, the immediate self today was the fact that an elderly lady, Miss Bogle, was killed. And that is a tragedy of immense proportion. But the fact is that the last few weeks, in fact, Augustown has seen again a resurgence of major violence. And I want the community to appreciate that we are deeply concerned about the tragedy of Miss Bogle, but we're also deeply concerned about the continuing level of violence in Augustown, which has taken in this year, 9 lives, and in the last few weeks in particular, about 5 or 6. A number of them were in the community. There are a couple outside the community. because gangsters have been fighting with each other. And with scant regard for anybody's lives, that concerns us, and we're looking at it in a specific way. The Ministry of National Security looking at how we can move with new strategic approach to overcome this. It's not just a matter of detaining an individual, but we're going to work with the community to see to what extent we can get the law-abiding majority of the community to cooperate with the police, which means we have to ensure their security to prevent them feeling fearful. Because what I've seen elsewhere is once we get the wider community cooperating with the security forces in a sensible way, we find the guns and get the guns, we'll either be able to prosecute the criminals or they will leave the community. Much has been done by the Commission and the present leadership to make adjustments to improve the efficiency and to work within that framework. Plus the policy of the government to look at the zones of special operations as a primary means of not only disrupting the criminal gang, but bring a different kind of work approach to social intervention in the community. It's beginning to take impact. We are not as yet widely located as we would like to be, but it's a policy decision that I think can bear fruit. Even before we get a full zone of special operation, it's a matter of refocusing social intervention in a very specific way. So we gain the confidence of the community and disrupt the gangsters who are on a road of disruption and mayhem and killing. There's just absolutely too much violence in Jamaica. We settle all our differences, whether criminals or otherwise, with violence, and we are committed to finding a way to reversing that trend.
It's a sad day. It's a sad day for Augustown, but we will not be defeated in Augustown. It takes commitment, and sometimes you get a step back, but we will regroup and, make every effort to bring peace to Augustown.
Jamaica, I can help you protect our citizens.
Jamaica Eye will play a part in increasing your public safety.
Jamaica Eye is part of an island-wide network of camera surveillance systems designed to increase the safety of you, our citizens. If you have a camera system outside your home or office facing a public space, log on to jamaicai.gov.jm today. Jamaica Eye, we're all connected. The Ministry of National Security, creating a safer and prosperous Jamaica.
I guess by now you know that the work from home order has ended. For many, that may mean more expenses as we head out of our homes more often than we have in the past months. But now, as ever, it remains important to spend wisely and save where you can. Here's a little help on just how to do that.
With COVID-19 now in Jamaica, we are being advised to stock up on hygiene supplies that can be used to protect ourselves, as well as to have at least 2 weeks' supply of food and water in reserve. A lot of us may not have the disposable income to readily do that, at least not without tapping into a little savings we have managed to put aside. But financial experts will tell you, whatever the need, it is important not to deplete our savings, and money management is critically important. But how to do that? First, don't rush to shop, or panic shopping as they put it. Why? Because you may buy things you don't immediately need, leading to wasted spending. Next, I would say assess your home situation. Check how many persons are in the family, if there are babies, toddlers, and persons with special needs. You should then decide on the amount of available money you have to spend. Make a list of the things you need. The experts suggest at least 2 weeks' supply of basic food items and medication. To help with your shopping list, it's a good idea to work out a meal plan for the period. Next, be disciplined. Try not to divert from this meal plan too much and finish the supply early. This would mean going back to the store to spend more money. Protecting your health is priority number 1, and being smart with your expenses actually supports that. We must remember that we are not sure how long the country will be going through this pandemic. So, as best as possible, we need to ensure our money can carry us through for as long as possible and hopefully have reserves for after.
From the data, we can see that most countries will enter a phase of rapid increase in cases. However, depending on the containment measures employed and the timeliness and effectiveness of their implementation, the severity of the increase in infections can be managed downwards. Empowering citizens with information that encourages responsible personal hygiene and community health behavior, such as washing hands regularly and staying home if ill, tracing and containing infected and contact cases, that is, quarantine measures, and implementing social distancing measures, gathering restrictions, for example, have real effects on slowing down and containing the spread of the virus.
It is said that by May, the country may have reached the peak of confirmed cases of COVID-19, but the recovery process and further containment measures may still be in place for a few more months. So, what else can you do to protect your financial health? A key thing is to not max out your credit card and income because you are worried that supplies will run out. Check for moratorium on mortgages and loans. Use this as a reserve cash flow instead of your pay or savings. I know it's easy to get off track with plans, but we have to be disciplined and we have to prioritize, now more than ever.
Water is precious. So we encourage everyone to practice the 4 R's of water conservation. Always remember to reduce your use of water wherever possible. Replace water wasting devices with water savings devices. Reuse water wherever possible. And wherever leaks are found, please repair them and repair them quickly.
Don't delay. Practice the 4 R's of water conservation today.
One thing that you should be ensuring during these times is that COVID-19 does not force you into a space of substance abuse. Actually, this needs to be a concern all year round, whatever else may be happening in your personal environment or globally. We have some suggestions to help.
Generally across the world, it is accepted that persons with substance use disorders and people who are chronic users, problematic users of various substances, particularly smoking. So you're smoking cigarettes, you're smoking ganja, you're vaping, and then also alcohol use puts you at a unique risk for developing the complications that are associated with COVID.
The novel coronavirus that causes COVID-19 is notorious for attacking the human lungs. It's no wonder then that among the most vulnerable are people with compromised lung function or lung disease as a result of chronic smoking and alcohol abuse. The National Council on Drug Abuse is now more than ever urging Jamaicans to reduce and avoid excessive smoking and alcohol use. Though persons may feel the need to resort to substance abuse during the COVID-19 outbreak due to stress, worry, and fear, this can be a detrimental move. Rather than relieving stress and worry, substance abuse will weaken the immune system, damage the liver and lungs, and put persons at greater risk for suffering the worst symptoms associated with COVID-19 and other life-threatening illnesses. Additionally, the behavioral practice of smoking also poses added risks. If a person's hands are contaminated, then putting a cigarette, spliff, or vaping device at their mouth will cause them to easily become infected with COVID-19. To reduce drug abuse among chronic users, the National Council on Drug Abuse has proposed a few coping mechanisms. Contact your relatives, friends, and ex-addicts if you are struggling with chronic drug abuse. They may not be able to physically be there with you, but a call can give you the encouragement you need. Having a healthy immune system is important to survive this and any other virus, so ensure you eat well and engage in regular exercise to boost your immune system. Some parents are experiencing additional stress by having to supervise their children at home during this time. Structure can make you more productive and lessen chaos. It can also be beneficial to ask your children to help create the schedule. Make time for alone time. Ask other family members in the home to supervise the children while you do something for yourself. Use the time to better yourself, create new habits, focus on what you need to learn, grow, and give. Spend time pinpointing the things that are making you stressed and prone to abusing drugs. Try to address them one step at a time and find ways to distract yourself when these triggers appear. The National Council on Drug Abuse is now offering telecounseling throughout the island. For the Eastern Office, persons can call 876-926-9002 or 876-469-2521 for the Central Office and 876-940-2240 for the Western Office. Persons can also contact the General Helpline at 876-564-HELP. That's 876-564-4357.
Most scientists agree that the frequency and magnitude of hurricanes are increasingly being affected by climate change. Here's one way our government is working to be part of the solution.
Climate change is real. We must address it in order to secure our future. Our children are depending on us.
And so the government has launched an initiative which will see a tree being planted for every Jamaican on the island. These 3 million trees will be planted over a 3-year period across the length and breadth of Jamaica land we love.
Planting trees, of course, is one of the ways in which Jamaica is taking deliberate, strategic, and decisive action to mitigate the effects of climate change.
The program will be managed by the Forestry Department with support from the European Union's Development Fund.
€1 million of the total amount will be specifically dedicated to reforestation and maintenance of degraded lands, with special attention to species that are indigenous to Jamaica.
Our aim is to improve the resilience of our coasts, hillsides, and plains, while also improving the beauty of our urban centers, major thoroughfares, parks, and the added effect of offsetting greenhouse gas emissions.
All the trees that we are planting over the next 3 years will be for nothing if we don't deal with the issue of the degradation of the forests. Ladies and gentlemen, if our forests are cut down without regard for sustainable forest management, we all know that our watersheds and our water supply challenges will worsen.
The 3 Million Trees initiative will focus on 3 main areas.
It would be one that protects our coast, including mangroves, one that does general forestation, one that includes urban forestation, and on the other side,
we're going to have a national fruit tree planting program of 3 million fruit trees to be planted as well.
In addition to 1,000 Hope interns that will benefit under the program, employment opportunities will be provided for persons from communities adjacent to areas to be planted.
$2 2 million timber seedlings will be planted on over 3,000 hectares of land managed by the Forestry Department. The department will distribute the remaining plants, a mixture of timber and ornamentals, to the public.
We want to get more of the private sector adopting hillsides. These are lands that we manage, that we want to just take charge and be responsible for the maintenance of all of that.
To ensure that the seedlings remain viable and transition into healthy forest, a mobile app using GPS technology is being finalized. This private-public sector partnership will see the monitoring and tracking of the plant's progress.
Because it's nice that we plant the trees today, we take a lot of pictures and everything, but what happened to those trees afterwards? So we really want everybody to ensure that the trees we plant today, we return to them, ensure that they are still growing, and check on the trees we planted last year.
We are taking a different approach with this project to ensure its success. Over the next 3 years, we will be rolling out different aspects of the initiative through public education campaigns focused on the preservation of the environment.
The challenge has been thrown out. Will you answer the call? Will you dedicate a portion of your land for planting trees? Will you adopt a hillside to stop landslides? Will you ensure that the trees you've planted are nurtured? We can do it. We should do it. We must do it.
It is hope that this action will ignite in every single Jamaican the understanding, the will and the commitment to play their part in securing Jamaica's environment and making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, do business, and retire in paradise.
I encourage the deaf children to have deaf pride, to know that they can. You're on the same level as a hearing person. It doesn't matter that you can't hear. You have a lot of deaf adults who are successful, and you can achieve. You can get the education that you want, you can do anything that you want, you can achieve. Don't feel like you can't because you're deaf.
In believing that nothing is impossible, I have been able to culture a very positive attitude to life, and that positive attitude has worked for me, and I am confident it will work for others. I would want to say to persons with vision impairment and disabilities that it is critical that they become tooled or retooled with the appropriate technologies that can help to drive the way forward so that they can accomplish their vision and their goals.
Children with disabilities, whether you have CP or not, I strongly believe that you have a purpose. My disability has taught me that when it says the sky is the limit, it is. There are times when you're going to fall, but what is to stop you from rising?
Now that we're in the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season, let's not forget that we haven't fully conquered the presence of COVID-19. So as you prepare for one, think about the other. Here are a few hurricane preparedness tips, but with COVID-19 in mind. Number 1, plan your evacuation route well ahead of time. Depending on where you live, you may have to evacuate in the event of a storm or hurricane. Make sure that your safe place is not an area where persons may be in self-isolation or home quarantine. In other words, not an affected area. Number 2, keep non-perishable and emergency supplies on hand. At this point, your emergency supplies are not just your batteries, lamps, flashlight, or first aid kits. Your emergency supplies now include your hand sanitizers, disinfectants, masks, and medical supplies. Anything can happen. Number 3, stay informed. Keep up with what officials and government authorities are saying about the latest weather information and emergency plans. Number 4, and the final point, look out for the elders or vulnerable family members. They may be a group that is more susceptible to COVID-19, but so too are they during a hurricane. Make sure they are well secured and have access to any medical supply that may be needed. Remember, it is getting over all these things as best as we can that will help to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
How would you want to be treated if you were diagnosed with COVID-19? Not like this.
Them will talk how I'm wicked and dead, and they behave like I am the one that created the virus. All my friends as well that were positive, them going through even worse than what I'm going through. Persons are calling police on them as well.
Do not allow your fear of COVID-19 to rob you of your humanity. There is no need to shun or victimize persons with the disease or those on the front line.
To mistreat persons that do have it, it's not a good feeling. We don't cause this on ourselves.
We really need to cut the hate and work together as a country, as communities to overcome.
Let us be understanding with those affected and support each other. Be kind. End the stigma.
Our show ends here today, but our reliable team is back in the office preparing a fresh edition for tomorrow. While they do that, you can always catch a recap of today's show by visiting our YouTube channel. Also keep up with the JIS by visiting our website and follow us on our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. Keep safe and let's rejoin right here at this time tomorrow. From all of us here at the JIS, I'm Theodore Henry. See you soon.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.